We have some major updates of mixed martial arts, starting with the news Belal Muhammad fired back at Colby Covington. Maybe you remember, after Belal won the title, Colby goes off and said that he wants to fight Belal at any cost.
The guy's a the only time that Belal, the racist juice monkey, wanted to fight me was when I already had a title fight signed, sealed, and delivered. Otherwise, he's never said my name because he knows he's a little and he knows what I would do to him. He's a if I cross paths with him, he won't be champion anymore. He won't be a man anymore. I will take his man card, and we know he's still a virgin, so it's not like anybody's gonna because he's just disgusting. I mean, look at his teeth, look at that on his face. You know, I'd love to fight him. I hope that fight happens. You know, I'll do whatever it takes to get to that.
Now, Belal responds to this. In a recent interview with MMA Junkie, Belal called Covington a joke and pointed out that Covington has lost all 3 of his title fights, while Belal only needed 1 attempt to win his. He was basically saying that Covington will never win a championship and won't reach his level of success. Belal ended up by saying that he hopes to run into Covington in public so he can tell him all this face to face.
He's a joke, right? Like, literally everything he says is a joke. What is he, 0-3 in title fights? All I needed was 1 time to do it. You'll never touch the gold. You'll never be who I am. And just keep talking, bro. Just keep that. You said keep that same energy when I see you, please. I beg you, let me see you. I beg you, let me see you in public. Because, bro, unless he like actually fights any of these other guys, he's not gonna get another shot. But I mean, I hope he goes on a good run, beats some of these contenders, and figures a way out to fight me in the cage. But I mean, all you gotta do is find me at a steakhouse and we'll see if you keep that same energy.
Finally, Khamzat Chimaev's fight has been set for UFC 308. Recent reports confirm that Khamzat will face his previous opponent, Robert Whittaker, in the co-main event of UFC 308 after their earlier fight was cancelled. The winner of this fight may get a shot at title shot. Middleweight title situation will become clearer when Duplessis fights Israel Adesanya at UFC 305. Depending on the result of that fight, Sean Strickland is looking to face the winner. As a result, either Robert Whittaker or Khamzat Chimaev could have the chance to fight for the championship title in early 2025. The UFC has upset UK fans with UFC 308 timing. After UFC 304, now UFC 308's timing will not please the fans. As most of you guys know, UFC 304 had fights scheduled at unusual times, which upset many UK fans and fighters because it messed up their sleep schedules. Now, the upcoming UFC 308 fight timings will be prime time in Abu Dhabi. UFC officials confirmed this news, said that previous events like the fight between Michael Bisping and Dan Henderson did well even when they were scheduled at strange times. This gives him confidence that the upcoming UFC 308 event will also be successful despite its scheduling. But most UK fight fans disagree and are not happy with the timing of the events. Listen to what UFC officials reveal.
Obviously, the pay-per-view in October was announced tonight.
Yeah.
Just for information's sake, is that going to be held prime time here or prime time America?
No, that will be prime time here.
Okay. So obviously,
just like the last few times that we've done the October pay-per-view.
Okay. So obviously, Manchester was not prime time UK. Can you
Yep.
explain the difference of the decision making of why one would be prime time local and one not so much?
Yeah, so there's a few things at play. I mean, number one, there's only so many kind of off-prime US events that we can have, right? A great deal of the revenues from a company are driven by ESPN. And so for us, we need to make sure that we're balancing the number of events that are primetime US versus off-prime US. Manchester was a Dana initiative. Dana said, like, we've got all these champs, we've got a surging fan base in the UK, we've had a multitude of extremely strong events in the last 3-4 years in the UK, with many events in London. And in order for us to fit this in at the right time, the opportunity was to come with a middle-of-the-night pay-per-view, which we'd done before with Bisping. I can't remember what year it was, maybe 2017? 16? Can't remember. Anyway, we had done it once before. I think it was Bisping and Henderson?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we knew it worked. The arena was great. I mean, you left and it was sunny out, and I don't think anyone had left prior to that main event. So will we do it again? I'm not sure, but it
Mohammad Mokaev begs the UFC to re-sign him. It looks like Mokaev is getting emotional about coming back to the UFC. After his fight at UFC 304, Dana White wouldn't re-sign him. He recently did an interview with MMA Junkie, where he asked Hunter Campbell to let him fight for free in his next fight. He also said that he learned his lesson and wants to come back to the UFC.
So what's your message here for the UFC? Because obviously you want to get re-signed to the UFC, right? So what's your message here?
Of course, I said to Hunter Campbell, I said, whatever I've done at the hotel, I'm ready to pay for that and fight next fight in UFC for free. Whatever trouble I made. I think it's unprofessional, but it's something that was in my heart for a long time. I have to get rid of it. And I think I took a big lesson. You know, I want to come back to UFC, and hopefully I will be back.
The MMA community reacted to this with Aljamain Sterling saying, "I'm reading a lot of these comments shaming Mokaev, but here's a fighter's perspective. No other promotion is paying him what he's making in the UFC right now. Not many high-level promotions have the 125 division. He shot himself in the foot with his actions and is trying to find a way to make it right at the expense of pride." Another fan said, "I low-key feel bad. He's literally begging. This is getting sad. Kid is on his knees begging Daddy Dana for another chance. Have some shame. This only comes after the PFL agreed they want nothing to do with him laughing my ass off. Bro willing to fight for free. His contract after gone be a 20-fight deal, fighting for 2K a time. Bro got grounded. Please, Dana White, he was only 23, he will learn. Bro, this is the most desperate thing I've ever seen. Hell no, keep his boring out of here. Why UFC isn't resign him? Conor was injured, lots of UFC stars broke their bus, threw bottles at Nate Diaz in a press conference. He's still Dana's favorite boy. Shows how much power Dana has. Tough lesson to learn. But after his boring last fight and all the drama surrounding it, plus all the stuff that went on behind the scenes, no one will work with him. He needs to go away for a couple years and try then. Tom Aspinall also shared his thoughts on Mokaev being removed from the UFC.
Yeah, so Mohammad Mokaev is a lad I've known since he was 12 years old. He's like, he's in his early 20s now. I think he's like 23, 24. So on the weekend, he fought in the UFC, and him and his opponent had a lot of beef beforehand. They were scrapping in the hotel before. Some real stuff, and I heard some stories about kicking each other's hotel rooms when they're trying to sleep and kicking the doors down and all that shit. I don't even know what's happened, but these are just rumours. But anyway, the UFC, he went in there, he won the fight. Quite a boring fight, to be honest with you. The UFC kicked him out, long story short. They don't want to re-sign him because of what's gone on. I think it's unfair, to be honest with you. I think it's unfair.
Mokaev's been kicked out.
Mokaev's been kicked out, yeah. They're not going to renew his contract because of the goings on in the hotel and backstage and all the rest of it. I mean, this has happened before, all this beef, you know, in the hotel and at the weigh-ins and all the rest of it. It's not the first time, so I think it's a bit unfair on him just to kick him out indefinitely. At the end of the day, I'm not the boss of the UFC, am I? So it's got absolutely nothing to do with me. I'm not running a multi-billion-dollar business, so...
Michael Chiesa called out Colby Covington after his win over Tony Ferguson. After recently defeating Tony at UFC Abu Dhabi, Chiesa appears ready for his next fight. During media talk, he challenged Colby Covington to a fight, plus criticized Covington for being inactive and only talking without actually fighting. Chiesa emphasized that rankings didn't matter to him. He just wanted to see who's the best.
Give me that goddamn microphone.
You know I don't give this thing up here. We'll hold it together.
Okay. Yes, there is something I want to say. I want to fight Colby Covington. I've been saying this for years. Look, the guy can sit on the sidelines and say whatever he wants, whatever. I'm not chasing the ranking. I don't give a I just want to find out who is the best fighter, who is the best welterweight in the Pacific Northwest. I know he resides in Dade County, Mr. 305, but let's find out who's the best in the Northwest. Is it me or is it you? That's what I want to find out. Are you going to idly sit around and do nothing, or are you going to come back and fight? Keep your ranking. I don't give a shit. I just...
Umar Nurmagomedov says he'll smash both Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili.
They said I'm next for the title. I am #1 contender. I will fight for the title next. Doesn't matter it's gonna be Merab or O'Malley. Be careful, guys. I coming for you. Doesn't matter who gonna be next. I coming.
Would you rather fight Merab or would you rather fight Sean?
You know, if I will choose, they will think I scared one of them. That's why I want to fight with both of them. I don't scare no one. Doesn't matter. Even if boss, I will fight. I will smash them both.